Hi, everyone. My name is Dean Haspiel, and you're on Splash Pages.
Is the one obvious thing.
What's wrong with him?
His girl just broke it off.
It's her father. He doesn't want her dating a zombie.
Why? What are they, demons?
She is predeceased.
An outsider?
Mm-hmm.
Man, you're asking for trouble.
She broke my heart.
You're a zombie. Technically, you don't even have a heart.
After all of the great cinema that we brought to the world, and we still get no respect.
I don't know why he doesn't like me. I'm responsible. A full-time job.
You work at a haunted house in October.
I'm trying to be healthy. She's a vegan, so...
Wait, you're giving up meat?
Oh, come on.
What are you gonna do? Attack a farmer's market to try to impress her?
Now, if he was a vampire, he'd have a much better chance with her death.
Yeah, those pretty bastards.
I didn't think this would be that hard.
Hard? Man, I'm a zombie and I'm black.
Here we go.
I blame the educational system.
I blame the media.
I blame George Romero.
Oh. How could you be so disrespectful?
Coffee?
Zombies don't know much, but they do know good coffee. Deadly Grounds. It's coffee to die for, and zombie approved.
Who's George Romero?
Just have some coffee.
Hey everybody, it's Tuesday night and I'm stuck in a banta tank once again. It's okay though. Carrie is gonna fleo for me, so I'm gonna flee out of here.
All right. Bye, Leo. Get to feeling better. I'm sorry, everybody. Happy Tuesday. How's everybody doing? We are going to have a great show tonight. We have some awesome special guests with us. Well, a special guest, but I consider her one of our hosts to be a special guest because she hasn't been able to do with us all the time lately. I'm just flustered because I'm being a terrible Fleo. We had some tech problems to work out, and he's the keyboard monkey, and I tried to be that monkey, and I am not a good monkey. Oh, hey, Dylan. So anyway, on to the next monkey.
Hey, it's me, and it's Tuesday, and I'm here, you're here, we're all here together. So let's head on over to MJ to find out what she's doing.
Hi! See, I finally allowed myself out of the dungeon. I'm not working on this cosplay. So happy to be here. And yeah, I'm looking forward to Terrificon, and I'm really looking forward to tonight. So yay, let's go.
All right, as I'm fleeing, I'm also fedrewing, so I have to do the intro. I think that I have introduced this man a number of times over the past couple of months. So, and as I watch his podcast, Vito X Dino,
Mhm.
I'm doing great tonight, guys. Yeah.
One
Um,
more.
my name's Carrie Sanders, and he's Dean Haspiel.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dean Haspiel.
Sorry, I had to get that in there because if you happen to watch his podcast, it's it's just the way everything starts. So
It's very silly. It's so DIY. It's more DIY than I think any other quote podcast that I'm involved in. Like literally, Vito hits the start button and then at some point stops it, and that's our podcast, right? Like, which again is I think basically a lot of podcasts, but he had an intro, like the little bit of music that he made.
that
That's on the Spotify or whatever, meaning it's on the audio version, right? And he finally on the recent one we did, I think it was episode 80, he finally integrated that through StreamYard, thanks to you guys lending us your StreamYard. And gave him a little more, it gave us a little like 1000% more like quality to the show, you know, by just adding this little bit at the beginning. I don't even know if it ends that way. I haven't even gotten that far, but it was actually I had to leave my own podcast because I was having StreamYard issues.
Yeah, I watched that one. I've been doing some catch up because we're on the road to Terrificon, and I had a con that I did in Omaha that I did a panel with Phil Hester at. Still working on getting that put up because I record it and then I go, here, Leo, do things because you know
Make it beautiful.
because he has all the tech stuff. But yeah, so I've been catching up on the podcast. I finished off today with, and I have seen some of the future ones, but going from my backlog, I ended with the podcast that broke Vito.
Oh.
And or the episode that broke Vito, issue 73, where I learned about worm sex and far much more about your father than I ever needed to.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what broke Vito. And in fact, we realized at the time, oh, that's what the episode's got to be called, you know, basically. So, yeah, somehow I've known him for many, many, many years, and I was able to get him. You know, you think you know everything about someone that you've known for eons, and you can still surprise someone, you know, which is awesome. I love that.
I mean, I don't know you that well, but I was surprised.
Well, now you know me better.
Okay. What were you saying, Jar? I'm sorry.
I said I'm gonna have to Google worm sex. I'm intrigued now. I'm like, what happens? Aren't they asexual?
Exciting.
I forget now. I think I might have blocked it out. What worm sex was.
Well, the band is basically a reverse chastity belt. Is what it turns out to be. Like that, if you see an earthworm, that's where they exchange fluids through or something, and then they lay like a cocoon, and wormies come out. That's what I took from it. And then you like told your story, and I was just like,
I learned where babies come from.
Man,
babies came from.
Oh,
I bloody love you guys. This is so right.
People, not only did we start late because of technical issues, people are now leaving because of what's being said.
They're like, what? Hold on, this is the wrong podcast.
You know what? I'm so. I think I might be too British for this, guys.
No.
Did we break MJ?
I just no. See,
you don't even know what the story.
Just
you don't even know the story. That's the funny part.
That's what I'm saying. Out of context, it sounds absolutely mental, guys.
You know what? There was a famous Chuck Palahniuk. You know the writer Chuck Palahniuk, who I actually met at a Miami book fair. He was very cool and fun to hang out with. But he wrote a book, I believe, of short stories. And apparently there's one story that he would read that every time he read it, and I think he read it 70 times, someone would faint and some people would vomit based on this story.
Oh, my.
And I guess maybe I found my Chuck Palahniuk story. I don't know. You don't even know what it is, and you don't want to know what it is.
You have to go watch episode 73 of Vito X Dino.
No.
Yeah.
So keep in
Because
mind,
you don't want to overshare it. You don't want to say it
Oh
on
no,
every.
no, you gotta
no,
make
no
sure
spoil,
people
no.
go to your podcast too.
No
Yeah.
spoilers.
I think it's just like, I think I love the randomness that is this show.
The what?
The randomness that is us.
Oh,
altogether.
sure.
I love the
Well,
randomness.
that's
So,
my favorite kind of show is the randomness, because I mean,
correct.
sure, you might want to, like, I don't know, you have Frank Miller on, right? And then you want to ask him all those questions about Daredevil and Dark Knight and everything, and he's probably answered them
Absolutely,
a
of
million
course.
times, right?
Yeah.
But then
He's
you,
just
like,
like,
I was talking to Jimmy Palmiotti at what was it, IC3 in Jacksonville. We were having breakfast one morning at the hotel, and he was like saying how he's tired of answering the same questions, and like, why don't they ask him a different question, like, have you ever been to jail, kind of a thing. And he'll be like, yeah, twice, and they'll have two stories to tell. And then he was telling me this other incredible story about growing up around gangsters and whatnot, and it was just, it's like, you know, you have all these other stories that don't get provoked, because when you're talking comics, you think you should just stay on target, right? But the
Right.
best stuff is the stuff that you didn't know you were going to talk about, you know? So it's
Absolutely.
always
Yeah,
good to throw a curveball.
I know a lot of people who are voice actors, and like I'm blessed to have some of them as friends, and they're wonderful, fantastic people. And they all say that they have very similar stories. I get to say, oh yeah, this voice actor one time, you know, took my phone and messaged some of the most random thing ever in that character's voice. Because there was a blackout at the hotel at 2 a.m. and somehow everybody was in my room. I don't know how it happened, but that's where we all ended up.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody's, you don't really know these people. Oh, really? And then like click. I believe that is that person, but the most random stories is not has anything to do with the work that they do. It's just something random. Those are in fact the best stories.
Oh, I love it. And whenever anybody says hotel room, obviously hotel room conjures so many memories and stories, and like, I mean, I can think of one right now, a major / artist, DC Comics publisher, great human being, I think was hosting a party in his hotel room at one of the San Diego's or New York Comic Cons or something, and some people busted out some pot, but they didn't have rolling papers.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, oh no, we have rolling papers, and he pulled out the drawer with the Bible in it.
Gideon's Bible?
Yes.
You know,
yes.
like, so, I mean, that's obvious, right? Like things like that.
Oh yeah.
But no, I've had my hotel room adventures, as I think a lot of us have.
Oh,
I
yeah.
go to a lot of conventions. A lot.
When I was with my other podcast, we stayed at some real dumps just to go to these different cons and stuff. And like, oh my God, paying $60 a night, you got what you paid for. It was
Get what you paid for, man.
Oh yeah.
Bro,
I'll tell you a really quick funny story. Oh, do you have something, Carrie?
I was just saying, I save up for TrifCon. I go in class. I've got the Hampton by the Hilton sort of thing going on. I'm paying fucking like 2.5 months rent to go to Terrificon
Oh my
between
Lord.
flight and hotel rooms because, well, I was spoiled.
Amen.
And I have
But
to
I
have
think that's
room
good. I was just talking to Howard Chaykin today, because I posted something on Facebook. I said, do I know anybody in London and Paris? And I know I do. I was just forgetting. So I was just like, and the reason why a lot of people think I'm going to London and Paris now, because I wrote it that way. Really what it is that my studio mate is going to be going to London and Paris and wanted some advice. So Howard Chaykin wrote me, he said, London? And we started going back and forth, and it turns out he was flying to London today, and he knows it very well. But before he got on the plane, we were on speakerphone, and he was giving me advice. And one of the things he said, I was asking him at one point, like, do you have any advice for good, like, lodging in Paris or London? He said, you can't afford it, Dean. Like where I go, you can't afford it. Which implied, and even said, whenever I travel, I treat myself well. You know,
He
so
is
I
a
get
posh
what you mean,
motherfucker.
Carrie. Yeah.
And it's because whenever I've traveled, it's always been with like my mother, because I can't drive. So if I go anywhere, I have to be accompanied, and with the epilepsy, I have to be accompanied by somebody, so that if I fall on the ground and start twitching, I'm not waking up in a hospital somewhere. So And my mother's like, no, we are not. Well, like, we stayed at one place where it was the only room in town, and they had this thing where it was like spa area and stuff, and we were like walking up the steps of this just shit ass motel, and we go out and look at it later, and the spa area is a swimming pool that's half the size of my apartment
Oh my.
with a bunch of ducks in it.
Like real ducks. Okay.
Real ducks. Yeah, ducks have they live like, and you can tell that they've been there for a while and the pool has not been cleaned for a while. Like we didn't go in, but we just had to take a picture of the spa area that was marked on our map of this like world's worst motel ever, and it was just like, no. We stopped here only because we could not we're Midwesterners, so we take a 15-hour drive and we just do it, you know.
Yep. Wow.
But it was
and you
it was one of
rotate
those like,
drivers, right? I've never
I
done
can't
that.
drive.
Oh, you can't
Mom
drive at all.
No, I can't drive at all.
Right.
If you have
That's
a seizure within a year, you can't, and I'm like weekly, so
That's correct.
I can't.
That's correct. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but so I have to
I was
navigate. But yeah,
Wow.
But yeah, Howard's a posh guy, and he's allowed to be because
Absolutely. I mean, and he's also into fashion. I mean, the guy. Another
I
quick
can
hotel
understand
story.
that very well.
Another hotel story, and I may have mentioned this to you. I don't remember, but years ago, when I was being published by Top Shelf by Chris Staros and Brett Warnock, and this is way back in the early SPX days. I want to say like 90s, you know, like maybe like 98, 99 or something like that. And I remember, you know, he would get like a hotel room, but a lot of us would be bunking in the hotel room. So that means 2 to a bed, sometimes 3. There was the floor. I remember one night we were sleeping and James Kacholka was in the bathtub. And then there was like a couple other artists, and I was sleeping in the same bed as Chris Staros. And we all finally hit hay and we're trying to go to sleep. You know, it takes a while because everybody's at different times that they go to bed, and fell asleep. And I remember at one point waking up like a little early, like one does, and especially when you're in a foreign space. And I look over next to me and Chris Staros is gone. I'm like, oh, maybe he's going up to the bathroom or something. I go back to sleep. I wake up like a half hour later and I notice that, again, there's no presence. Where's Chris Staros? I have an empty side of the bed. So we all finally, I go back to sleep. We wake up. He's not back at all. I don't know what's going on. People are wondering where's Chris Staros. And so we all get dressed. We grab our comics and our bags and stuff, and we go to the con. And we get to the table, and Chris Staros is sitting at the table like really early, right? 98, born that year. Look at that. I'm like, Chris, what happened? He was like, dude, you were spooning me all night long, and I could not fucking deal with it. And he went and found and he couldn't go to set up early or anything. So he went and found a 24-hour diner, like ordered some food and fell asleep like in the booth and got a little bit of rest that way. I felt so bad. I guess I couldn't help myself, right? Maybe, who knows? I'm a spooner, right?
We're tripling up this year in my hotel room, so Drew and I are sharing, so that Aaron's going to come and stay with us.
Oh, that's true. I have me and Steven, and we're trying to see. I was trying to get, depending on where you get an extra bed, that depends on that. But it's
okay, forgive me. You said Aaron.
Aaron Cohen is going to be. He's a.
Okay.
Canada.
Because I was making sure that, because what does MJ stand for?
Mahana Jade.
Oh wow, that's cool.
He's got an awesome name.
Oh, because when you said Aaron and then MJ started talking, I thought, oh, is that the labeling wrong or something? But no, it's all good. It's all right.
No, yeah.
I put in the chat because everybody either butchers spelling it or saying it, so I put it.
Right. Might as well say MJ. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
No, when we're doing it this year, like Drew and I have always had separate beds, but this year, but they're I get like a double queen for us because you know. And but Aaron's coming this year, and since he doesn't actually know us, it makes more sense for Drew and I to share a bed since we've been rooming for 3 years. You know, they're queens. But he's like, I get to be the big spoon. Can be the big spoon. You're a foot taller than me.
It's important.
No, but I guess I did talk to Mitch recently, like less than a week ago. I texted with Mitch at Terrificon.
Yeah? And
he said that because of how many people are showing up, he said the only way I'll be able to go this year is if one of his guests dies beforehand. So I'm not wishing on that. So I'm probably not going to be able to see you guys. I'm sorry. And Howard won't be there either.
I know you, Howard, and Maudie. Even though Howard lives in California now, I consider you my Brooklyn boys.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, my Brooklyn boys aren't going to be there. This is the first year without you that I've been there, I think, and
Sorry.
I'm devastated. Like, you should at least come and hang out for a day.
I'm bummed out
that's
too.
a long drive, though.
No, I know,
So,
and I like to stay over and hang out and go to the. I'm not a casino person proper, but there is
Same.
something kind of cool and weird about it. Like it's a phenomenon to me.
we never got to hang out last year at the horse bar. Sorry, MJ.
Right. I know the
No,
rodeo
it's
bar.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, maybe next year. I mean, unless somebody croaks in the next week.
Okay, that was that. I'm
not
sorry,
wishing
but
it, just in case it happens.
That's right.
this is a horrible thing to say, but the best death message ever was Keith Giffen's when he was like, saying how he got out of going to NYCC because he died.
That's right. That's right.
And like
He
people
was
were
doing a
reading it, and
podcast
nobody
himself
believed
before he died. Sorry.
What we
Yeah,
had him
yeah.
on the show. I think we were the last interview that had him actually.
Yeah, like 2 weeks before he passed, I believe.
Yeah, and he was full of piss and vinegar, so it wasn't
he
like dude wasn't like ailing, or if he was hiding it really well. So,
Right.
but that was so hotel rooms.
Maybe we should
talk about
talk comics.
the comics. Oh, okay. You, really? Okay, so
20 minutes in, we might. Oh, by the way, everybody, Dean writes and draws.
Oh, right, yeah.
And edits. He's an editor
and
as well.
edits and publisher.
Man, he wears many hats.
Yes.
Yeah,
all the hats.
I've come to be able to do it all. I don't know how
But only
good I'm
black
at it,
teachers.
but I do it.
I just want to know how you.
What's
do
your
it.
favorite?
Like, it's crazy.
Oh, my favorite thing these days is to write.
Nice.
And it's also because I don't just write comics that I draw and letter and color and everything else. But I write plays and little screenplays, and I would love to, one of my dreams is to make a feature-length film. I've made a couple of short films in my life, but those were more like exercises than visionary things.
You won an Emmy as well.
Yeah, I got an Emmy for working on HBO's Bored to Death. My good buddy Jonathan Ames, who created the show and was the showrunner. It was based on a short story he wrote called Bored to Death. But it just featured a singular character basically. So when they pitched the TV show, they wanted to add some characters. So one of the characters they added was a guy named Ray Houston, who was loosely based on me, a cartoonist, and some of his backstory was mirrored some of my backstory. And thanks, Dylan. And yeah, there were. I mean, but if you saw the characterization of the character Ray Houston in Bored to Death, it wasn't much like me. And I remember the first year because it went 3 seasons, 3 years. I remember the first year trying to kind of keep a distance from Zach Galifianakis, who played the Ray Houston character, because I wanted him to create his own character. I didn't want him to base it on me or study or anything. That wasn't the point at all, But we got to hang out a little bit here and there, and it was a lot of fun. I don't know, have you guys seen that show at all? It's such a good show.
I have not.
And now it's like almost 20 years old when I think about it. I think it came out in 2008 or something like that. Maybe 2009. What?
I have this. I've only had cable in my life like for maybe 3 years out of the 50 that I've lived. Like off and on here and there. Like if it like maybe a parent has had it or something else, but I never have. And then I have a list of like 40 different 12 season or movies or things.
Hey, I'm the same way as you. Like I have never had HBO. I've either borrowed it or is it someone's house. And I've actually bought lots of DVD box sets. Like I have The Sopranos, which I've never seen. Even though I went to school with Edie Falco, to SUNY Purchase College with Edie, who's one of the major and I've hung out with Michael Imperioli. I've hung out with a lot of people. There's a guy, oh, I forget his name right now. He's one of the characters. I see him like every day walking down the block here in Carroll Gardens. I've never seen a lot of I've never seen The Wire, and Seth Gilliam, who's an actor in The Wire, who I went to college with, was starring 2 of my plays, and all he ever says like that's the best TV show ever made. And I would debate that, not having seen it. I would say, well, then there's Breaking Bad, you know, like, which I really loved. And in fact, I hung out with my friend Sam Catlin the other night, who was a what do you call it? A writer, director, and a producer on Breaking Bad, and then went on to become the showrunner of Preacher when they did the 4 seasons of Preacher.
Preacher was good. Preacher was really good.
A lot of fun, and I liked what he did with that. You know, so that was a fun show. And now he's in New York, about to shoot 8 episodes of a new TV show that he created and written. So it's you know, I'm adjacent to all these people, and I hang out, or I've worked on, you know, Bored to Death, whatever. But I want to do my own thing. And as much as I love and cherish comics, and I love the fact that I can take a blank piece of paper and create a whole world just with a pencil, you know, and no permissions, no apologies, you know, because that's kind of like, I guess, why I still do comics, right? Because you have that sense of control, or that sense of freedom too at the same time, you know, depending on what the job is, whether you're creating a comic for yourself or you're working as on a franchise, you know, like a Spider-Man or a Batman or something, you know, like there's only so much you can do with those characters versus what you can do with your own, you know. So I remember one time Quentin Tarantino was interviewed, and he was asked, because he clearly had an affection for like Luke Cage or Star Trek, and he has written stuff like that. And I think at one point someone was circling the idea of him like revamping Friday the 13th or something like that. And he ultimately said, you know what, I don't want to put my fingers on other creations that exist, because everyone's going to tell me what I did wrong, right? He said, but with Kill Bill, you cannot like it, but you can't tell me I did my characters wrong, you know?
Yeah.
And that kind of brings up the whole idea of the self-entitled fan, which I think there's a lot of fan service happening more than ever, you know? And that's fine, you know, because the fans are important, absolutely, you know, especially for the franchises. They depend on the fans, you know? They depend on the chatter. You know, I just wrote something recently, and it's in my newsletter today, that I wrote on Facebook about why do we know how much a movie makes or how much it costs to make, right? Why? Does that sway you to go see the movie or not see the movie? What'd you say, Jeremy?
That stuff kind of kills me. Like I watch a lot of movies, and politics has seeped so much into the viewer's mind when they're going to see a movie. Never mind how much it costs to make, how much they made back for it, blah blah blah. And it's just like, why do you care? Like,
it's nothing to do with the story that you're immersing yourself.
You want to go and enjoy yourself and just like be in the moment, like.
But I also compared it. I realized that I compared it in my newsletter, and I'm trying to paraphrase that. It's the same thing with Kickstarters. Some people will not pledge until it's hit its initial goal, or it's got, you know, hitting some kind of other tiers or whatever, you know, stretch goals, right? And it's because they need it to be like sanctioned or approved by, you know, a group of people. And I'm like, you either like it or you don't. And at the end of the day, a Kickstarter is just a pre-order with perks sometimes, you know?
Yeah, I did. Aren't you, do you have a Kickstarter, don't you, right now, don't you?
Oh, I don't right now. I did have one,
right
and I'm going to be doing. Yeah, so my last Kickstarter was Antimatter #1, but I'm not numbering them. Sure. Well, there you go.
Oh,
thank you.
Okay,
I'm not numbering them. I'm actually calling this the Spring 2026 edition, so that the next time you get Antimatter, it'll. I was hoping for the fall, but it might be a winter situation depending on a gig that I have right now. But but yeah, I just want to date them. I don't want to number them because there are self-contained. You see a #1, and then or you see #2, and you're like, well, do I need #1 to like #2?
Don't understand. Yeah.
You know, so I'm kind of like gaming it that way. You know,
I'm a big fan of anthologies.
Oh, I love anthologies.
you're very much about evergreen as well. Is something I've picked up on. You want every like I think if you could just leave everything without a date and such, that
I
would fit
prefer
you
that.
Yeah.
Because the
1000%.
entry, I don't want there to be any hesitation in terms of like wanting to pick up something to feel like, I mean, in a way, maybe that's why Marvel and DC start over at number one every like 20 to 30 issues, or you have a writer take over for 30 or 40 issues, and then you get their quote run, and then the new writer comes on and they're back at issue number one, but really the legacy issue is like 962. Or something like that. So you keep the fan service of like, oh, I've been collecting these for 30 years, and now you're going to go to number one. You can't do that, and I get that, I'm a fan like that too, so, but I think with indie comics, and I've talked to Vito about this on our podcast and other creators who do like miniseries, or like right now, Vito Del Sante is the co-creator and writer of Stray, and he's my podcast partner that we do every week, and the third issue of an 8-part Stray series has been funded and being delivered to backers, but it's like, what is issue 4 going to look like, like in terms of numbers? Like, yes, you can offer the first 3 for issue 4 to catch up on it, I get it, but I think that for some people, they won't even look at the tiers to find that out, because they feel like issue 4, there's no way I'm going to be able to catch up.
I need to catch up, and that's out of my pocket range.
And that's why I do a lot of. Well, I've had you on. I do a lot of the Kickstarter things or crowdfunding in general around here.
I appreciate you for doing that. Thank you.
Oh, it's always a pleasure. But like, I think we missed the last one. We never were able to line everybody up because we had too many people going on or whatever. But a lot of people just do a digital, like a PDF backup thing on it. And one thing that I wish I could get from you is like those books hanging behind your head there. Like I've picked them up at conventions, which is great to do. But being able to order some of the stuff, and that I only recently learned because I have the book that was the Dean Haspiel, the early years, but I haven't gotten through all the. I had you sign it. It was fun. Yep. But I need to get the Keyhole comics, and I don't know. Do I go through Josh to get those, or
either Josh, or if I can find another copy, just give me your address. I'll send it to you. Although I will say this, yes, I would love for you to have it, but there's contents in there that might wind up in a future issue of Antimatter. So, but
okay.
You can have both. So yeah.
I've been I last time she'd mentioned it, I've been reading your stuff on Webtoons.
Oh.
And I'm really enjoying it. It's a lot of fun, and I'm digging it a lot.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, of course, man.
There's like 5 seasons of the Red Hook over
yes.
on Webtoon. Although it technically is 4.5 seasons, but that's because they cut my 5th season in half. They were actually not going to let me do my 5th season, and then I was able to, convince them, let me have an ending here, for this series that's been up. And so, yeah, I had to truncate my original story plan. And I've been writing, I do a monthly Red Hook comic now for a local newspaper here called the Red Hook Star Review. It's also reprinted in the Village Star Review. It's cool. A monthly strip. But I've also been drawing it like a 1-pager that I then connect to make it into a strip. And so some of those strips, they appeared in Antimatter #1, or the spring 26. And so they're like these little 1-minute plays that I've been trying to write. In fact, one of the reasons why I was delayed coming on was I was just at the printer printing out the next 4 episodes. Because I like to lay them out on paper and whatever, do a little editing. And those things are hard,
Do you mind if I show just a couple real quick?
So this is the back cover to Antimatter. But what I wanted to do was to put it next to COVID Cop #1, which is just called COVID Cop. And this is the sequel, COVID Cop Insurrection. And this is the biggest story in Antimatter #1. and it was a lot of fun to do, and I changed up the color scheme. Say it again.
I'm flipping to the beginning again. Yeah. Rather than making everybody watch it go through.
Oh, I see. Yeah, well, here's the cover. And basically, I just wanted to introduce like my pantheon. And then but don't show a lot of COVID Cop because there's like some fun spoiler stuff. We can talk about it, but I don't want to talk about. Go ahead.
I'm not gonna spoil the red. This is my favorite Red Hook one in here.
Mine too.
Well, Ratatosker just bawled his eyes out at the last one, by the way.
Oh. You mean the last?
The last Red Hook one. Yeah. So
understandable.
Because of the huge amount of nudity involved in the next like 18 pages, I'm gonna skip over to here.
I like that. I like the little X's. I saw that. So I was playing with this color schema. I was trying to bring this like kind of 1980s like synthesizer electronica new wave vibe, and almost looks a little bit like Miami or something, from the 1980s, and even though it takes place in New York City and Brooklyn and whatnot. And I was just going for this, like, it's hard to do a limited palette because of what you can do with it, but I started to get a groove on it about 6 or 7 pages in. And I think that's when things maybe start to get naked. I don't remember.
This is the last one I can show. Yeah.
Oh, okay. But so, and again, my sensibility for nudity might as well be an Archie comic. Like, it's not that bad, I don't think.
I thought it was great. I was thinking before the show that the comics need more boobs and dicks, because like the way, especially the way you used it, it made sense, and it wasn't like,
I think it's family friendly. I appreciate, like, it's there's nothing that's like, listen, I have worked with Stoya has been in 2 of my plays. She was an international porn star, like, I respect pornography and all nudity and everything. I'm all good for that, but when I actually employ it in my work, I don't go full throttle, as it were, because I don't need to, like, and so, and I think I hate the word obscene, because there shouldn't be anything obscene about the human body, you know what I'm saying? But I don't think I've crossed that obscene border in my, sexy comics, as it were,
I think this page, because I wanted to show off Chest Face, because I really love Chest Face, and this isn't terrible.
There you go.
But I love how the way that he's built and everything, and the whole introduction, and the comic rolls as you're going. You start off with the story of these 2 that are hanging out the window, and then it rolls into like Chest Face doing his thing, and then it goes on to the COVID Cop, and it's you bookend it with the Red Hook stuff, which is beautiful.
Right. Thank you.
But
this story is only 4 pages long. It's a first page, a double page spread, and then 1 more page. And I felt like I was able to get a lot in and kind of like do this little intro, like, this crossover between Chest Face, Billy Dogma, and Jane Legit, in a fun way, and kind of tell a little bit of a story between the 2,
Well, and I can't show the next couple of pages. Oh, what the hell? You know what? I've had some gin.
Oh.
So we're going to move over like this. So this is why we aren't going on. We'll go back to that one. But this little preview of some of the nice little fun things that you can get from Dean. He has quite the imagination.
And then we have AI Joe, artificial intelligence
oh my
Joe.
God, that was great.
Oh, that was great. That season, man, that was.
I love the ending of that. How up in space, everybody's using monuments to fly up there. I was just,
you're talking about COVID Cop? That's COVID Cop.
Oh, the COVID Cop.
Yeah, my bad. But that's we can talk a little bit, but not too much, because I like that to be a surprise for readers, because that was a bitch to figure out. Like, I don't even know if I got it right, but I was putting together like this transformer, let's call it, right?
Yes.
Of different spaces, and I was having so much fun with that, and that's an idea I came up with a long time ago for a different idea, for a different project, and it never happened. Do you hear like a sound? Oh, it just went away.
It was
And
MJ.
and what was I gonna say? It was for a different project, and I had shared that idea with Brian K. Vaughan, of Why the Last Man, Saga, all these great comics he's written, and he's worked in television. And he said, "Oh my God, that's one of the best ideas I've ever seen." So I was able to finally employ this idea that was a lot of fun, that I already plotted out the next COVID Cop story. It won't be in Antimatter 2. It should be in Antimatter 3. And or the thing that I'm coming up against now that I'm getting more and more comics here is that eventually there'll be enough material per character, let's say, to be able to put out a book with a spine, and be back in the comic shop, because I've not been in the comic shop except for the occasional cover. In fact, just today, I got copies for a cover I drew in 2024 that just came out. I think it's coming out this week or whatever. You know the comic Geiger?
Yes. Okay, hold on. Let me get that. Love Geiger.
Here's a cover I did. But you'll notice it says, well, it's backwards maybe, but it's 2024. And I did that 2 years ago. And there's another cover I did for them for what's the comic called that hasn't seen print? But basically right now I feel like I've done, is it 3 covers or 4? They have Hyde Street. I did a comic cover for Hyde Street.
You did? I love Hyde Street.
Mary's big on that.
Yeah.
So I did a cover that hopefully will see the day of light, the light of day, that is.
I was going to show off some of my artwork real quick that I got, because I got Antimatter, and we've just shown the covers and stuff, but I'm going to put this up real quick. Sorry, you have to look at me. But this came with
No
it.
Kings. That's right.
The No Kings, which I loved.
Thank you.
And then this came with it as well.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I like that slash of light, that just the negative space of that,
Yeah.
So much fun.
It really pops with that one. And this was, if you guys didn't know, I was Dean's first cosplayer, and he was the first person I've ever cosplayed as one of his characters. So I got him, and he did a drawing of me holding the mask and being the Coney. So
as the Coney. Awesome. That was fun.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. I mean, thank you. I appreciate
getting that hood on. That the convention, not Terrificon, trying to get all the hair in the hoods.
Yeah, that's why I have braid. Well, you see me with my hair out, and it's.
Oh, you look amazing.
In Connecticut, it's huge.
Like I said, this is why I said, I'm like, Carrie, this is why we braid our hair. Braid our hair.
I am right now because
this right here. This is why.
Yeah, I didn't know the
opportunity. You all had the opportunity to read Antimatter. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Oh, absolutely.
And do you want more? Are you excited for more?
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh,
absolutely.
Cool.
Oh gosh, yes.
And guys, for free, you can subscribe to the Red Hook Tribune, correct?
The Red Hook Star Review.
Star Review.
And I think you can get it, but you know what? I don't think he's been putting the comics up online, and we need to rectify that. But also there's a bunch of comics. Like
I have been seeing them when I go check it out. I find the comics page, unless he stopped recently.
Let me just pull. Hold on one second. I'm going to show you something.
Okay. We like something.
So
this is great.
And these things turn like. So this is the paper. Okay.
Oh wow.
And then it's like your good old tabloid paper, and then in the mid there's some comics that are littered throughout, including Stan Mack, the famous cartoonist, has a piece in here somewhere. But then there's a 2-page spread of full comics, okay? And I curate this page. I curate and edit this page, and this page is edited and curated by Mark Jacobs and a guy in England, and they have James Kacholka, Tom Scioli, whole bunch of really good cartoonists, and it's a lot of fun. And on my side, we have Whitney Matheson, Ariel Catan, this is Jason Mitchell, who was pinch hitting for Adam Sverta, who does a comic called The Local. We have Nicholas Forker of Island. He's like 2 doors away here. Everybody here has a studio here, including my studio. And then there's mine. I don't know if you can see this one. If you can read it.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Can you? Is it backwards?
No, we can read.
Oh, you are able to read it.
What
I need
was
the
the last
last two
panel?
panels.
She's nice again.
He just basically it's the old your mama joke.
Yeah.
But he hasn't said anything rude or anything. Maybe it's the way he said it. He goes, "Your mama," and the other guy goes, "What about my mama? She's nice." And then he gets punched in the face for saying that. And then the guy says, "What'd you say about my mama?" And bloody and broken, he goes, "She's nice." And then you notice the Red Hook is just walking because that's one fight he can't have. That is an eternal like brawl between people. Like no matter how you say it, if it's the night you legitimately saying she's nice, what? People will fight you. You know, they don't want to hear that, you know. So I wrote and drew that one recently.
So speaking about the Red Hook's mama, how's Son of a Bitch coming?
So one of the things I did at Yaddo, when I was at Yaddo for about a month ago now, I think, was to write. I wrote the first 9 or 10 pages of Son of a Bitch, which is basically the Red Hook and his mom. And I set up a situation, which I'll spoil here a little bit. But if anybody who has ever read the Red Hook, at least the new Brooklyn saga, the 5 seasons online, one of the things that happens in New Brooklyn is that guns can no longer shoot bullets. Okay, so they become ineffectual, and that's me kind of making commentary about guns. You know, like people. I understand it's a tool, and I understand that a gun can't shoot itself, but the minute you put a human behind it, we get all kinds of things happen. Okay.
Yeah.
So I kind of removed that, which was kind of like. Meanwhile, the Coney still can throw knives and hand grenades. So Brooklyn hadn't caught up yet to that. Yet. So anyway, guns are ineffectual, but then at the very end, the very beginning of the Red Hook saga, New Brooklyn saga, is that Brooklyn is sentient and it has become heartbroken by the toxicity of the world, so much so that she, Brooklyn, removes herself from New York, ergo America, to start her own republic, right? So that means she's self-contained and has to become a self-contained space, right? So for 5 years, it's a self-contained space. And through a series of circumstances that happens toward the very end in the 5th season, New Brooklyn elects to rejoin New York, ergo America, and the world, almost like as a peace treaty and in a way to be part of the world again. But it made me think about something. What happens the minute the bridges go back and touch, the other parts of the world that uses guns? It means somebody can walk over on the bridge with a gun, and now they can use it. It's not like you walk through an invisible barrier and like suddenly the guns melt and they don't work anymore. It's literally like in this. And again, I have to write about this in the story that I'm writing right now. But in re-engaging with the world, you have to re-engage with all the problems and the issues, in a way, while hopefully setting examples, So anyway, the subtitle for Son of a Bitch is the shot blast or the gun blast heard around the world, something like that, because of something that happened between 2 people in front of the Red Hook, and he wasn't able to stop it, and someone got murdered, right? So he's always been a reluctant hero as is. So he decides, I can't do this anymore, kind of a thing. And he literally disappears. And then Winona Richards, the reporter of the New Brooklyn paper, is interviewing the girlfriend and this person, and what happened to the Red Hook? Where did he go? And so his mom, who's retired and is trying to take care of Benson Hurst with his brain damage, decides she's got to come back and she's got to find her son and then resolve like not only what happens with guns and bullets, but like who he is and who she is at this point in their lives. And that's kind of what I'm writing here. But none of that really matters unless you've read the backstory. Like that to me really is a continuation. You know, if had I been given my druthers, that would have been season 6, let's say, you know. So that's what I'm working on, and I feel like it could be an important comic, maybe, you know, if I ever get to finish writing it and drawing it. And that was one of many things I was writing. I finished the first draft of a screenplay about I tried to figure out another, you know, all my stories involve love. So in this one, although it wasn't because of this movie, but you know the movie Obsession that everyone's talking about right now, or that's obsessed with it, right? You don't know it, or you saw it?
I have not. Those guys have.
Okay.
I've not seen it. I heard of it.
Oh, you haven't? I really liked it. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Jeremy, you saw it?
Yeah, I took my 12-year-old daughter. Her and her friend wanted to go see it. I'm not a horror person. I was just like, what the heck? It was creepy.
I thought it was very funny. I thought it was very funny. But so it's about obsession and wait, why did I just bring up obsession? Because I was talking about something that's obsessed.
You're talking about the screenplay
the screenplay. So there's a guy that's obsessed with a woman. He's in love with her. He's crazy, but he's also like a super nerd and a genius, and accidentally sparks a zombie apocalypse where the zombies don't want to eat your brains; they want to fuck the shit out of you. So all these zombies are walking around trying to hump everyone and fuck them, and that's part of this screenplay. So
why?
Because I was trying to figure out what is something that they haven't done with the zombies, you know, like what's a new angle, you know? And I remembered seeing a movie called Dead Alive by I think Peter Jackson. And at one point there were a couple of I think zombies trapped in a dining room or something. And they once in a while we check in on them, and at one point they're just fucking the shit out of each other. And I thought that's hilarious. Like I believe that's what happened. Anyway, that always stuck in my mind, like something they haven't really pursued. You know, we went from slow zombies to fast zombies to intelligent zombies to big swinging dick zombies. You know, and in the latest, oh god, what are they called? The 28 years later, whatever.
28 years later.
Bone Temple, I think, or something like that. And it's fun, but like I was like, no, let me take it to its next level. But it's too much exposition. I realize I put too much. I'm trying to explain too much stuff, and people don't want you to explain zombies. They just want to, you know, and the situations between people. So I think what I did is I wrote this version, but I need to write a different version of the same idea. So at some point I might do that. And then I finished. I took a first draft of a play and I updated that. So I'm talking to some people right now that might be interested in maybe producing it, directing it. Please, I hope so. So I did a lot of writing, and I wrote this 24-page Billy Dogma script called "The Many Deaths of Jane Legit," which will be the major story in Antimatter #2, and a couple other little things that, like, you know, I was asked to pitch. So I did a lot of work while I was there, and that's the good news. Now I got to draw it or try to sell it or whatever, you know. So
okay, this is horrible that I have to ask, but you did the Star Wars spoiler. That was you, wasn't it?
Star Wars spoiler. Oh, you mean the movie?
Short film? Yeah.
Yeah, it's called There Is No Try.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can go and check out your stuff. Can they get that just through going through you in general?
It's on Vimeo. I think it's on Vimeo. And if you type in maybe Dean Haspiel and There Is No Try, you'll come up to a 5-minute short film I made that's basically about spoilers.
It's super fun. Is there any way for people to check out? Have you been able to record and show off any of the plays that you've written, like people performing them? Because usually it's like the rights are weird as far as who's performing, who does this. Sometimes
you'll get actors that have like a SAG waiver or something in order to do the play because no one's making any money at this. The dirty little secret about all plays, especially black box theater, 70-seat plays or whatever the hell, or 50-seat plays, is that, you're not really supposed to record anything, but everyone records at least once. so you have it and you don't distribute it or show it or anything. But I will say this, it's also the worst way to look at a play is on a video from one camera, because it just doesn't capture it at all. It literally is like, technically there was a play that happened, when you see the video, but it's not that good, like you wouldn't want that to represent, especially when you go, if you've seen a play, it's so different from seeing a movie in a theater. There's something more tactile and lively, and you're dealing with different, I don't know, it's just a different animal in some ways, theater, and the beauty of theater is that you can't record it. Yeah, it feels like it could also be very collective, like you could also all gasp at the same time, or cringe or get sad or laugh, or whatever. And the performances, I'm gonna go see Death of a Salesman on Saturday, and Nathan Lane and oh my God, what's her name?
Oh, really?
Incredible. Who?
No, I just said, I didn't know that he was doing that. So I don't live in New York. I live in Nebraska, so I'm like,
oh, right.
Oh,
and God, I wish I could remember her name. She's an incredible actress. Anyway, like they perform this over and over again, but there is a little nuance. It is a little different every time, and the only thing you get to have is your memory of it, because again, unless you're like, I don't know, I think they filmed Hamilton, right? But they probably had to film it a certain way so it could be a movie, Yes, there are ways, and listen, lots of plays get turned into movies. I mean, I would think I mentioned Tarantino before, but half of Tarantino's movies are plays, like Reservoir Dogs is a play. What?
Oh, absolutely.
Laurie Metcalf, thank you. Incredible actress for Death of a Salesman. But what was the one he did in the cabin in the winter?
8.
Hateful Eight. The Hateful Eight.
Hateful Eight.
That's a play. Yeah, that's a play. So, I mean, and I tend to write. It's funny, for the unlimited budget that one has on a blank piece of paper to make a comic and do anything, and I've done that with my comics. Like the Red Hook goes in crazy cosmic places, But when it comes to theater or movies, I tend to write more in a low budget way, and I don't know why that is. Maybe it's because I'm consciously or subconsciously thinking, if I were to make this, it has to be doable for me to make it on a shoestring budget or something like that, versus trying to sell it and making it a really big idea, or being your own George Lucas somehow,
Yeah, it's a matter of getting I can see that from also, like, if you're trying to get somebody to perform it, you don't want to have something where it's like, and you're going to need to spend about $10,000 in props and sets and this, that, and the other. You want to make it as easy as possible, and there's some great playwrights who have done exactly that, like just made things where it's like it all takes place in one room. You have an entrance and an exit, and
Yep.
I'm trying to think of who it was real quick. There was, but I'm going to forget his name and the name of the play. It's a play about, you will know this when I start telling it to you. It's a man and a woman who are boyfriend, girlfriend, but also, so as you go through it, you find out they're half brother, half sister, and the old man who's their father, sits in the background and just drinks. Do you know what I'm talking about, though?
I mean, it sounds like a Tennessee Williams play or something.
It's not Tennessee Williams. It's Sam
Shepard.
Yes, it's a Sam Shepard play, but it takes and I.
Oh, I haven't seen it, but I've heard, not True West, because that's too many.
No, it's not True West. Let me type
look it
real
up.
quick.
Look it up.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I went and saw I saw Waiting for Godot with Michael Shannon and Paul Sparks. And and my friend Ajay Neju is in it. And talk about sparse. I think there was one little broken tree in the middle of a stage, and a wagon at some point shows up or something. But yeah, very simple. And I'm all down. I love minimalism.
It was Fool for Love is what it's called.
Okay,
and
I haven't seen it.
it takes place entirely in one hotel room, and then there's like a little offset thing where like there's this father that's sitting and just drinking this
Right.
huge bottle of booze as he like talks every now and then as the kids talk. And I fell in love with that play, and it was being performed at the local theater down here, and I went every single night. And then I was living in this huge commune like building for a while, and we had the exact same setup backwards as far as like what their stage was, like as big as their stage. Only it was like the doors were reversed. So I
Right.
paid them like $500 to come in. I had a group of like 20 some people that all joined, and we sat down. We had a bunch of booze. We like watched the play. We had people doing like fire juggling and stuff later, and all sorts of
Wow.
storytelling and all this shit. But I got the entire cast to come and like perform and recompense. They got to have the fun doing it, and they admitted later they would have done it for free. But I wanted to pay them because
Right.
you know
Right.
they had to kind of backwards do their blocking and stuff. But it was really
Sure.
fun. But
Sure. Sure.
but yeah,
That's
but
Wicked
great.
but it
I
was
culture.
love
very
that.
simple. It
Yeah.
was it
I
was
love
it's a
that.
very simple setup. It was just one room and a rocking chair, and
Well,
that's
it's
all you
funny because
need
like
in some
you also talk
cases.
about like we try and do salons here, like my
Yeah.
friend owner Tukel, who's a filmmaker, great filmmaker, is a mover and shaker, and he does all kinds of stuff. He's also in that real life comics. Um, wait, what happened? I had to
Okay,
walk away.
okay, Dylan had to walk away. I need to ask you a question. No, Dylan, I haven't asked him that question yet, so let him finish this and then we'll
Oh,
go to the
okay.
question.
But going back to salons, like just taking
Yeah.
a big space or a room and doing something in it with a bunch of people willing to do something, and like owner asked a bunch of us to uh, come up with or share like a 5-page scene for two or three actors that would then be performed at like a bar in the East Village, and do like 10 or 15 of these, from different people. And it's just fun, like he just asked the other day to do another one on August 18th at a place called Pinky Swear in New York City. So anybody listening to this, I'll probably hopefully have something at another owner Tukel salon, where again, he's a filmmaker, he's an editor, he's a writer, he's a cartoonist, he's done so many different things, but also he understands that we're in New York City, we need to show up and do things, that we have to recommend this space with our art, and it's a good way to workshop ideas, like see how people respond, or maybe something isn't working, or maybe you tweak something here and there, based on an audience response. Like at the end of the day, like, when I make my comic, I try to show it to a couple people to make sure it works. But when you're working on like a play or a movie, you're sitting around like doing readings and stuff and making sure that, uh, there's a sense of clarity, so that you're not just messing around, with people's time.
No, it must be awesome seeing your writings come to life too, like that. Just
Yeah,
like
for sure.
like
So like a
Crazy.
Gertrude Stein kind of thing where it's just like everybody come in, let me introduce you. Well, you're that guy. You're like
Yeah,
the male New
100%
York
like that.
Gertrude Stein. You're like, you need to know you, and we're gonna get you together,
Oh
and
yeah,
that's going to be
it's
it.
important. I think I get that from my mother, my mother Barbara, who was deputy director at the New York State Council of the Arts for many, many years, and so she was like, she walks into a room and she's within 5 minutes she's the mayor. You know what I'm saying? Like, but she's also doing that, making those introductions, see what happens. Like those clashes between sensibilities can be amazing sometimes. And a mantra I've been following for many years, something that I came up with, was to show up to your own party. Meaning everybody has a party, whether it's small or big or whatever, but you got to show up to it. Like you got to put yourself out there, and then join other parties and mix it up. I think that's important.
It well, and this is weird, but not well. It's not actually weird. I think of like, okay, you started off very young in the business. You just like jumped in your teens, and pardon me. What I was saying before about my Brooklyn boys is it's like Howard was pretty much your mentor, and he like was like, I did Star Wars. Fuck this. I'm going to go
Yep.
do my own shit, you know?
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I'm doing comics. I'm working this. Fuck this. I'm going to do my own shit because I
Yeah.
can do that stuff, but it's mine. And then you go on to Maudie, and I've seen Howard and Maudie together, and they're great. It's
Yeah. Totally.
hysterical. But it's like you've kind of passed that mentorship on to him, and Maudie's just like, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want. I'm going to do Italian romance. I'm going to do
It's incredible.
bootleg.
Marty is.
I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want, and it's crazy fun how that's been interpreted and gone down, and like it keeps working.
Yeah, Marty's
Yeah.
a real inspiration because, like you said, he doesn't let anything stop him from doing whatever, and he's really good at coming up with like new ways and new ideas to hype his comics. You know, like to make you think about what the hell are you doing? What is this? You know, like, and that's really cool. And like with Howard, I guess the biggest difference is that. Yes, he's going to be most famous probably for doing Star Wars, adapting Star Wars into comics form before the movie came out. Because I remember picking up the comic before the movie came out. Okay.
Because he was getting set shots to draw it off of.
But also, like, he wasn't doing his best work. Why would you? You're adapting a movie that nobody knows, right? So, and he went on to do American Flag and come up with Black Kiss and tons of other great comics that recommend him and that I truly admire, and so, and of course that was the same year that not only did I assist Howard on American Flag, but I was working with Bill Sienkiewicz on New Mutants and Electro Assassin, and with Walt Simonson on Thor. I mean, that was a crazy year, and that's me leaving a high school, an arts high school, music and art, where they kind of frowned upon comics, to go hang out with these masters because no one was really teaching comics. You had to learn comics by doing them or being around people and looking how they made them, kind of a thing. So yeah, I have not done anything near what Chaykin has done in his life. And the problem I have with my career is that I don't have anything that makes me money while I sleep. And I've never done anything that made that kind of an impact. But I hope that my personality and my persona makes you, we live more in a world where people are like, we have patronage, right? Like Patreon, where people just want to give you money because they like you and they want you to keep doing what you do. Howard grew up in a system where you had to perpetuate, IP, right? And then maybe create your own IP, as a kind of a, if you liked what I did here, you might like what I do over here, kind of a thing. And I never really did anything too substantial. I think the biggest stamp I ever made in IP that wasn't mine was the Fox at Archie Comics, because I did 2 5-issue miniseries. So I did 10 issues of that, and I did a one-shot with Vito. And I've done Spider-Man, I've done Batman, I've done a Thing miniseries, with Evan Dorkin that I'm not too proud of the way I drew it because I wasn't ready for prime time. I'm still not ready for prime time, which is why, like, around 2023, I basically quit comics in a way. Like, I emotionally just was bereft. And I was like, I can't keep trying to pitch to publishers. And when I do sell something, they're paying a third of what they used to pay, and I can't survive on this. So, with Kickstarter just becoming the third biggest publisher of comics, maybe now the biggest publisher of comics. I was like, and seeing people like Jimmy Palmiotti or Michel Fiffe or so many people, do well with it. I was like, well, let me attempt this. Let me try this. And I started with COVID Cop because that was the most recently rejected, pitch I had. And at least the note was, oh, we like this. There's no way we're ever going to publish it because COVID Cop, right? So, but because it was COVID Cop is where I got to polarize people, but people were either really into it just based on the title and cover alone or not at all. So it was very black and white response, and then it encouraged me to dust off other characters like Billy Dogma and Jane Legit, or like the Red Hook, or invent something like Chestface, so I'm in this weird space where, like, wow, I've had 5 successful Kickstarters, but not gigantic, I live, month to month, basically on these things. It's not sustainable the way it's going right now. but I do hope in the future I can figure that out. And I need to get back into the comic book store.
I mean, I fund so much shit because you're in it. Because like I took out Aerotech before, but I don't know that I've shown this one off yet. But I got this because you're.
I wrote a one pager in there. Yeah, that's This Ink Runs Cold. Scott Morris, like one of the best guys ever.
I'm gonna like all of the art is by. Is it okay if I show off your page?
Yeah.
Okay. Gotta open myself up here, but oh, it's this one. Do I have it? Am I holding it up right? Yeah,
the one. It's called Contract Killer. It's the one to the. There you go. A little bit. You can center it more. There you go.
Right there. Yeah.
Okay.
And,
they're all one pagers, and it's awesome.
Yeah, it's so much fun to have worked in a collaboration. I don't collaborate a lot with artists, as a writer. And in fact, I took that same concept because I had to edit it down when he wanted a one pager.
How do you do one page?
It's really hard. It's really hard. In fact, he cut out a line of dialogue that I'm not so sure was right, but I respect his decision. But I had this bigger idea of that I wanted to play with the idea of what is a contract killer, which I won't give away. You have to read the comic. But and then I was like, oh, Charlie McElvey of Zion Press, who works with Vito and is publishing Stray and whatnot, has a series coming up of like a Hitman series. And I took that idea that was truncated in the Scott Morse book, and I expanded it into, I think it's going to be 8 pages. So I have a bigger version of that story, the same kind of idea, but reinterpreted in a different way. So that should hopefully come out next year for an anthology that I've written it, I just haven't drawn it yet.
Okay.
And I am toying. One of the characters is an older hitman that's sick, like the guy in that one. And I'm thinking about, I haven't drawn Harvey Pekar in so long. I'm thinking I might draw him like Harvey Pekar.
Nice.
Maybe add a mole or something, just so that it's not exactly. But whatever. It is hard to do, but I enjoy short stories. I wrote a pitch for a Zorro short story that far as the editor likes it, or the publisher, but we'll see if that turns into anything. And then I was asked to pitch an idea for Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, which is being kickstarted right now. And if it gets enough funding, they'll be able to hire me to do this little 5-pager idea that I wrote.
Do you know Jeff Strand, who wrote the novel version of the Attack of the Killer Tomatoes from the movie?
Wait, who? Say it
again. Jeff Strand.
Oh, I don't know.
He's a splatterpunk author, but he writes a lot of like really fun. I'll hook you up with the edition of it and like.
Oh, cool.
Talk to them if you're interested. I don't know if you need
sure.
To have
I mean,
that
it's funny.
but
I've never seen the movie or any of the comics.
I haven't seen the movie either, but I know the person
who wrote it. I had a tough time trying to think of something, and my initial idea I pitched, they were like, "No, we can't go there." And I was doing something that was like adjacent to the Holocaust, and they're like, "We don't want to do any Holocaust Killer Tomatoes." So
they're definitely going to have a catch-up edition, aren't they? Like somewhere.
I would think. Well, mine ended with a big bottle of ketchup.
The catsup.
The catsup.
Catsup edition. That's so good.
So. Okay, what Dylan was talking about that I wanted to bring up. Okay,
yes.
So you edited, and this is out. Can you still, even though the Kickstarter has finished, can you still order things?
All right, so here's the skinny, because I talked to Eli Schwab like a half hour before jumping onto this, because I wanted to get some information here. So me and Doug Latino co-curated, co-edited the book. It's an idea we had years ago. And when I say an idea we had years ago, I can't believe that thousands upon thousands of people didn't have this idea. I mean, I think everyone does, they just don't do it. Or maybe they try to, or there have been iterations of, but it's like, to me, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer for a big city to have an anthology of city stories, And one of the reasons why we called it Real Life Comics, and then, colon, only in New York, is because it could be a series of real life comics only in Chicago, only in LA, only in Dallas. I don't know. Just pick, maybe only in the Catskills. I don't know. You can get regional or whatever. So if it does well, it lends itself to becoming a series, right? So we had talked to a major publisher that was really interested in it and had lunch and like had a back and forth. And then it just slowly but surely stalled because some things are glacial when you work with real big publishers, and they have so many things on the docket that they're like too busy to get to yours. And meanwhile, if you're trying to create an anthology with originally it's going to be about 30 people and it blew up to be like 60 contributors or more, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, we wound up getting like 52 stories, and I'll tell you where it what it finally ended with, which is a real coup. But so we managed it. We reached out to people. Most people, luckily, were interested, even though it paid piddly. Like it was just going to be a very nominal nothing, but like more of an acknowledgement, payment, as it were.
Aid in
And
exposure.
lots of exposure. Just take your shirt off and walk around the sun. So, but and so we got some great stories. Did some editing. There's some things that that didn't really work. Whatever. Blah blah blah. And then we and the whole time Cosmic Lion, Eli Schwab at Cosmic Lion Productions was interested in publishing it. So we were all in tandem together making this work. And again, people would hear about it and we suddenly get a pitch and we're like, okay, we'll add that. And it kept expanding the book. I think originally it was 216 pages, but now it might be 228 or something. And it's always going to be a hardcover and be this very special book. And I give a lot of credit to Doug for a lot of the way it looks, because he had a very specific way he wanted this look to look. He wanted it to be like a bookstore book, right? Anyway, cut to Eli Schwab, Cosmic Lion, and a whole bunch of small press publishers lose their distribution because Diamond folds.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Diamond distribution. So we're like, oh, we're left in a pickle here, because they were in bookstores, they were in comic shops, right? They did it all. Suddenly, everyone's scrambling and looking for a distributor. So they did get a distributor, but in terms of having a book distribution, now this is where it got a little messed up. Okay. We have, I believe the book is coming out in comic shops on September 9th of this year.
Okay.
But it's coming out in bookstores, I think June 1st, 2027.
Oh.
Which is ridiculous. Okay. And so I'm trying to figure out, well, okay, how do reviews work? How do if you see a review in the New York Times and someone's going to the bookstore and it's not there, and they can't even find a comic shop half the time, or where looking for do they even know to look for a comic shop? Like when you read a review in the New York Times, if we're lucky to get one, or Kirkus reviews, or somewhere where you read about books, they're normally going to go to their Barnes and Noble or something. Or honestly, in our digital age, they might just go to Amazon, okay, which I believe it will be available that way. But we want to support the bookstores. So one of the things I thought about was like, well, in a way, it's kind of cool that comic shops get it first, because comic shops need as much help as possible, okay? So we're thrilled and excited to have it, debut in comic shops, and then hopefully we'll do some signings and some readings and whatnot, and then have a second life in the bookstores, as long as the bookstores aren't pissed off that we were in comic shops like 7 months or 8 months earlier, but everything can be staggered, I think. And I think it's where you enter, and I feel like this will be a perennial book. I think it's that good that it's not just come and go type of thing. I think it'll be something that'll be talked about and recommended and be a great gift, and that kind of stuff. But it is hard, man. Like so many people got rejected from New York Comic Con this year. And that was one of the things we were hoping for, was the Cosmic Lion to get into Artist Alley and we'd be selling and, pimping this book. But Cosmic Lion didn't get in. So we're trying to figure out a way to maybe have a launch party around New York Comic Con, have some kind of, thing going on for when it comes out in comic shops. So, again, this is a certain frustration that's irking me, but I do trust that if people get the book, they will love it. And I don't always say that about everything I work on, you know. So, oh look, it's Vito. What's up, Vito? We did talk about you earlier, Vito. If you weren't
Absolutely.
around.
Do
It's
you
amazing how
where-
all his hair just comes out right here, right? It just disappeared and comes out right. You gonna say, Jeremy?
I was gonna say, do you worry about the well, comic shops in 10 years, are we even going to still have them? Because everything's going digital.
Yeah.
People are talking about, there was that rumor about like that Marvel and DC or whatever, Marvel may not do pamphlets anymore and just, you know, come out digitally and then collect them in print into books, you know, and collections. I feel like there was another thing that was just being talked about. Apparently, you know, like the Masterworks editions that Marvel does, you know, where they collect like 10 to 12 issues of like Iron Man or Captain America or whatever, you know, every year there's another collection of older comics in chronological order. That apparently they're not doing that anymore. That I think Clover Press will be taking that over now and kickstarting these things. It's like, I think you're right. I think, well, listen, the comic shop has also evolved in some ways. So not only do they sell comics, they sell toys and everything else. And I've mentioned in the past, I think one of the ways to keep a comic shop around is to make it a laundromat that serves coffee and beer. And it's 24 hours.
Absolutely.
My LCS.
Absolutely. Yes.
My LCS is like, you got to do all the card games. He has all the Magic the Gathering,
Games.
Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! They do different competitions each week. He's just, and pops. Oh my God, the amount of pops in my LCS is kind of scary.
I'm sure. So that's what I mean. It's not like comic conventions. Comic stores aren't just about comics anymore. You know?
No, yeah.
But I do think the other thing that's happened. Sorry, Carrie, real quick. And I've started to acknowledge this because I don't really sell my original art. I don't sell my original pages or anything.
You drive me nuts.
I've recently, because of OAX earlier this year, and I realized I could just draw something on a piece of cardboard that big, like a Batman, ask for $20, it would be gone within 10 seconds, and now I had dinner. You know, like, and one of the things I did at Yaddo, when I wasn't writing was I was coming up with like quick, you know, I've done this thing now called down and dirty cardboard art, cheap cardboard art, where I draw literally, I have tons of cardboard. Okay, these are like the dividers in the Fancy Feast cat food, you know. Or I'll get like something busted and I'll draw on this as well, you know. I'll cut them up. So like when I wasn't writing and, you know, commiserating with my fellow artists, I was drawing stuff like, you know, Joker and Batman, you know, Supergirl, Absolute Batman, whose costume I cannot stand.
Yeah. Same.
Wonder Woman, you know, just like Wolverine, like
badass.
Black Panther, you know, Hulk.
I love that one.
That's you.
So cute.
Wolverine and Deadpool. Another Batman, and then a Captain America. And like I just do these, and then I can bring them to shows to see if anybody's interested in buying them. I'm charging $100 because why not? You know, like, and also I'm making them available online. Like, you know, I'm just trying to like feed myself, pay my rent, and deal with unexpected, you know, expenses that tend to creep up on us, you know.
Yeah, and I watch you on your podcast, and you're just like, oh, I can't afford, you know, like, and Vito, by the way, okay, we're gonna hop in. Dean, here's a question for you to answer for the viewers. You're not fond of Secret Wars and the 80s event comics. Is there an event comic you remember enjoying? Real quick, Vito, before he answers that, you need to get the confidence in you that you instill into other people. I've seen Vito tell you, if you bring it to a Comic Con, they are going to buy that and you are going to get a lot of money. You hold on to everything because it's precious to you, and I understand that. and I can totally respect that. But you can
$100
draw things
for a
multiple
commission is
times.
like
And
fantastic.
Well, for those
It really
cardboard
is.
ones.
yeah,
Okay,
but
but still, like that's
Well, thank
like,
you.
like
Thank you.
I mean, I can't afford. There's a page of Phil and Andy's work on from the Wretch. Phil Hester and Andy Parks from the Wretch that they will only sell the 2 pages together, and it's out of my price range. I can't afford to pay for
Right,
both of those
right.
original pages, and they cannot be separated. You know,
Sure. Sure.
but you bring in your original. I know you want to hold on to it, but you
I
don't
can't
have
let go of
to
my
bring in
narrative.
your
I can't let
you
go of my
don't have to
narrative.
let go of your narrative. You need to do more OA because people love it. You're
Yeah.
finding this out with the down and dirty stuff,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you can totally go with it
Well,
because
thank you. Thanks for the boost. I do have every day. I think I'm embarrassed of my art half the time. I'm just like,
no,
how is that even possible that would be allowed out there? But like you said, it's funny because I like outlier art, and I'm trying to be like, am I trying to be like ink like Joe Sinnott, or can I try to do oh God, what's his name? Josh Baer. I don't know if you know Josh Baer. It's almost like he dips his elbow into mud and smears it on like,
Yeah.
Leatherface's, whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's wrong, right? And I love it because it's so impromptu. It's so base and bare, while trying to also be slick, and beautiful and I'm not ornate, I'm minimal, but I also try to get just the right line, to express what I need to get by. And it always looks so simple, but it took me a while to figure out that that's the line I wanted. So whatever, I struggle with this all the time, but I appreciate what you're saying.
no,
And
get over your imposter syndrome.
yeah, yeah.
Give us your artwork. Give us
Thank
some
you.
OA. You know,
give it to
um,
us.
the question that I was going to ask that Dylan was asking about was when we did the Only in New York, you had the most interesting possible reward tier that I have seen so
Oh
far.
Which
yeah.
is reflected in your name there.
Yeah, and
And
this
then we'll
is
get to Vito's question after. But yeah, sorry.
okay. So 4 people signed up for this, and we need to know. Okay, so explain the whole Schwitz thing.
Well, one of the tiers, I used to joke, and I still joke, but maybe it ends in a joke in the future, that one of the tiers I wanted to do in any number of my Kickstarters was that you had to sign an NDA and you'd be given an address for a location, but you had to bring a bathing suit. What you'd find out is you'd be going to like a Banya or the 10th Street, Russian Turkish bathhouse in Manhattan. And what happens there stays there. And I don't, with all its implications, I'm totally joking, of course, right?
Pierogies were mentioned.
There you go. Right. Pierogies and,
Yeah.
and so
I
you
listen.
were
I
saying,
just heard pierogi, so
that's all you heard. That's all.
Yep.
That's the password. That's the safe word.
Say
Pierogi.
I am.
pierogies.
I am very food motivated, man, and coffee. Oh my god, coffee and food motivated.
Oh yeah. There you
Oh
go.
god,
Well,
yes.
come on, you
Oh,
can
yes.
join us. I'll let you know what time, but a date someday once we figure it out. But this is what's funny. I think 3 of the 4 people that signed up are like related to Eli, like they're his cousins or uncles or something, or like father or something. So he
That's
said he has to
hilarious.
come down and hang out with us because there's no way. And then the 4th one, I believe, was the husband of one of the contributors, which I thought was very sweet. So
On
Polish ravioli.
so, ravioli. So, fun fact: I was a professional chef for 23 years.
Really?
Yeah, so
Oh,
it's always fun to be invited to a place I don't have to cook the food.
absolutely. I know what you mean. And it's funny because I've been asked, Dean, if you weren't a creator or an artist, what would you do? The first answer of the 3 is, I'll just say a chef, but I'm okay with being like a line cook, like flipping burgers at a diner, like I love it all. And the other
I
2
love
were,
food.
the other 2 were like mailman, because I respect mail so much,
Oh, yeah.
and like letter giving and all that. Like I could see
For
myself being a
certain.
mailman.
Absolutely.
And then I used to say paramedic, but then I realized a paramedic is bringing down like 1,000-pound people from the 5th floor and breaking their legs.
I did
like,
that. I did that.
My son's actually in training to be a paramedic right now.
Wow.
I did that for I did that for, I was a combat medic for 8 years is what I did.
Wow.
Wow, that's all I did with my life.
So now the only thing you gotta be is a mailman. They'll be totally jealous of you.
Yeah, there you go.
Wow.
It's weird
I've
how
always
many
wanted to be a
mailmen I
mailman.
know.
I think that's great.
Yeah, same. I was just thinking the same thing. I know like 3, which is not a lot, but are kind of odd.
I also know a remarkable amount of woodworkers per capita as far as like, if I'm like, do you happen to know a woodworker? And people will be like, oh, my cousin John, like, occasionally goes out to the shop and messes around. I'm like, I know like 5 people who make a living off of it, just randomly, not because I was looking for woodworkers, but because they just entered my sphere.
Right.
Okay.
I wanted to answer that veto question. So
yes, veto
can you
question.
put it back
pull that
up?
up again. Yeah.
You're not fond of Secret Wars in the 80s event con, is it? All right, so here I'm going to correct Vito a little bit on something because I think one of the things that the reason why he's mentioning Secret Wars, and I'm talking about the first Secret Wars, not the recent one that I never read, that I think Hickman wrote or something. I didn't read it.
I think it was Hickman.
But if I had to pick a line to draw on like my Marvel comics, let's say I have all the Marvel comics on my shelves up to date, a bunch of them, whatever, and I had to stop at a certain era, it would be at Secret Wars. Even though there are many great stories and many great comics that happened after, I think that Secret Wars was like the 25th anniversary of Marvel, I think. Also, it was in conjunction maybe with the New Universe. I don't remember. But so I feel like if it ended on Secret Wars, I'm good. Okay. And Secret Wars, I remember wanting to like it more than I did. It's okay. That's a hard concept to, pull off. Put almost all the major characters.
Battle World.
And then I think Crisis on Infinite Earths works much better. And it does serve more of a purpose, But I can't think of event comics since, like there was something that happened with the mutants where they got rid of a whole bunch of mutants, I think, at one point.
Oh yeah.
There was.
Did you like any of the zombie stuff, or because I mean those
fun.
were kind of.
I don't see them as events. I just see them as being parallel ideas. Like that's not an event to me.
Yeah. Side
quests. I can't really think of too many. I mean, then they have like what Deadpool kills the Marvel Universe or something. I just don't read that stuff. I don't care.
Colin has had Deadpool kill the Marvel Universe, I believe, 4 times now.
There you go. I mean, So, but I will say, I think there was an idea. What was it? Old Man Logan. That then was, and I remember pitching to one of the editors, Old Man Aunt May, and I actually drew.
Old Man Aunt May.
Oh, Civil War.
Man, Aunt May.
You know what? Vito just mentioned Civil War. I remember liking Civil War. What I read of it, I don't know if I read it all. I think there was a lot of other comics that happened around Civil War. But I think the main crux of the story I thought was fun, although it gets a little hinky because I think, and now I'm thinking about Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns, where Civil War was kind of played out between Batman and Superman in a way, ethically, about what is a hero in a way. Isn't that what Civil War also deals with? Is like where a government kind of controls your vigilantism, because they're all basically vigilantes, So it's a hard concept to swallow and parse, And some of the greatest writers in comics have tackled that idea. And I don't know. I mean, I love what Warren Ellis has done, but I don't think he's ever done a crossover comic. But he will expand on, traditional characters and then make up his own, of course, Yeah, and I know Vito himself wrote a crossover with some of his indie comics, And I think they're hard to manage, So, but yeah, I'm not. Whenever I hear of another crossover like that, I just think it's a stunt in a lot of ways, or it's meant, or look what's happening in the movies right now with all the multiverses, and Spider-Man's coming out this week, and I'm sure it's going to contend with all those strands of stories and whatnot. And they've done it with Loki. They've done it, and sometimes it's fun, but it can get unwieldy.
It's hard to wrap up all those storylines too.
I get confused on the orders. Like, what do I have to read next? My first venture into comics was Howard Mackey's Danny Ketch Ghost Rider Volume 3, you know? And then, like, soon into that was The Rise of the Midnight Suns. And I'm like, okay, so I have to get this one and this one and this one and this one. And I'm just, like, sitting around trying to figure out.
And that's intentional. That's supposed to, you know? But you know what I love? I love Frank Miller, Klaus Janson, Joe Rosen, and who was the colorist? I think Janson colored it later. But they're Daredevil, you know, run. Or Innocenti and John Romita Jr. You know, like, I like a good run. I'm more of as much as I love the Fantastic Four, I was a Fantastic Four guy. I wasn't necessarily an Avengers guy. I was an FF guy because it was about family. And then I was a Daredevil guy, or, you know, like a single character like Moon Knight, you know, or Batman or Green Lantern. But then again, everybody gets a ring, and everybody, you know, like after a while, or the amount of Spider-Mans we have now is bananas. You know, like, it just gets too much.
Has anyone not been a symbiote yet?
Yeah, I don't know.
Hell, even Superman's been a symbiote.
Right. And Superman's the hardest one to write of all for me.
Oh my God.
I think
call
he's
Mark
the
Waid.
hardest one to write. What?
Call Mark Waid.
Oh, Mark Waid's awesome. He is Superman. But I mean, my favorite Superman story and I haven't read too many, is All-Star Superman. That's all you need.
It's a good story.
So, okay, we're heading up over an hour and a half here. Gonna wrap the show up real quick. Dean, where do you like to have people? No, pushing the button. Okay, where do you like to have people reach out to you, and what do you have coming up?
All right, so I have a Substack, Dean Haspiel Substack, and that's my favorite way to, like, at least get, you know, the word out, and maybe have little parlays, you know, with maybe something I've said, and I like other people's newsletters, and I'll respond to them as well. So I think we're kind of entering this newsletter phase, you know, as it were. I'm also on Instagram, but that's more a visual kind of thing. And I've been on Facebook forever, where I actually do still have some kind of conversation with people in college and high school, and new friends and peers and everything. So those are the three places: Facebook, Instagram, Substack. And what's coming up? Gosh. Well, besides Real Life Comics in September in comic shops, I'm doing Plastic City Comic Con at the end of August.
My buddy Gleason runs that.
Oh yeah. No, those guys are great.
They're fantastic people.
I'm going to be doing my first Dragon Con, the 40th anniversary of Dragon Con in early September.
Very cool.
I always do Baltimore Comic Con. That's my family show, you know. Trying to think what else is coming up in terms of work. I've luckily I got a little gig that I'm going to depend on and do this 12-page comic and also draw a cover for something I can't announce yet. And I have some pitches in for some other short stories. Oh, a Conan the Barbarian story I did that I wrote and drew, colored by Mike Cavallero, is coming out finally after years of sitting, in a closet, coming out in a collection. I forget which Jim Zub written Conan collection, but it's coming up, I think, in September or something like that. I'm sure I'm forgetting other things, you know, but I am trying to, like, just lean into Dean and, you know, do my monthly Red Hook comic strip, and then try to, you know, create these anthologies that are meaningful to people and do more.
All right. Where can we reach you?
Facebook. I'm there on Facebook. I keep trying to restart my Instagram, but no, I'm just not good at being on it. So come to me, see me on Facebook. I'll respond to anything. Chit chat.
All right. Mahana?
Hello. Yeah, if you want to find me, I'm Instagram, the Cheery Goth. Where you'll see all my cosplay shenanigans and the events I attend.
All right,
You're gonna be at Plastic City? I'm sorry.
Sorry. Nope. We'll go back.
I was asking if Mahana was gonna be at Plastic City.
I might be, depending what I'm doing that weekend. I'm happy. I don't remember what weekend I'm supposed to be at Camp Laughing Grass for a weekend.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I'm not sure when.
Oh, can I mention one other thing? I'm sorry, before Carrie signs off.
Yes, as soon as we let Dylan say
Good
goodnight.
night, Dylan.
We love you too, Dylan.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm also going to be, I did a comics workshop at the Art Students League a little while ago, and I'm going to be doing it again. It's going to be 4 nights in the middle of September. So if anybody wants to look up the Art Students League, look up my name. It's like a comics fundamentals workshop. It's a lot of fun, and you're going to learn a lot in a short amount of time.
That's cool.
Awesome. And can they do that online?
No, it's not online. It's in person. Sorry.
Okay.
I do plan to do some stuff online in the future. So yeah.
Okay. Cool. If you want to reach me, guys, just Carrie Sanders. Go on Facebook. I have all the others, but I don't actually post on any of them. If you see a judgmental crow, you found me. So that's my little avatar. And thanks everybody for watching, and have a good night.
Thank you so much. Great talking with you guys. Thank you.